So real quick, I might as well share this with you guys. I gave a fictitious name to the person that did the hack job on this car, and that name is Ed. So I find it mildly therapeutic when I get frustrated with the stuff I find in this car to curse Ed. So it works. You should try it. Very helpful. Sorry if your name's Ed. So rebuilding door hinges is a chore. It is not exciting like replacing a quarter panel. It is, however, fairly simple to do. So if you can just say to yourself, you know what? I'm gonna take 2 to 3 hours, get her done. The sense of accomplishment you get from such a boring chore, I wouldn't say is priceless, but it's pretty freaking awesome. Got her done. And so now I am ready to rock and roll on more exciting things like hanging this door. From there, figuring out the location of this B-pillar and finishing the quarter panel. So the lesson is, when you get burnt out on doing stuff, take the minute, boring, simple tasks and use them as fuel to get other things done. We'll call it get her done fuel. Gotta admit, that tool was awesome. So that turned out pretty good. And our alignment is pretty good out of the gates. It definitely still needs aligned. We're gonna use the old paint stirrer trick. But that is absolutely another attaboy for the old garage seat. That thing, awesome. I'm a one-man band out here. And that seat is my backup singer. So you can see the alignment. It's kind of hard to tell because the quarter is black. Things are close. The door most definitely needs to go forward some. The gap down at the bottom actually looks fairly even. This needs to drop some, but everything needs to shift forward, I believe, if I have that room. If that is the case, then it looks like the quarter panel is going to fall where it needs to be, and the B-pillar is going to have to come forward. I'm gonna tinker with the door for just a little bit to see if I can't get it lined up. I'll be back. So the way I read it is you only want to loosen these bolts just enough so that you can take a block of wood and kind of tap and move the door around. I'm no expert, but that seems to be working pretty good. And by doing that, oh yeah, that's pretty good. That's really good. That is really good. We're gonna call that a win. We're gonna lock her down for now. My gaps seem to be okay. So because my quarter panel is not attached to my B-pillar, and really the only gap I can go by is this bottom gap. How parallel is the door running to... Basically, I'm trying to make... What I'm trying to do right now is get the bottom of the door running parallel to the top of the rocker panel and just a little bit more than a paint stick's width the whole way along. Alright, so after further inspection, now that I have the door setting right, this B-pillar is absolutely going to have to be moved forward. And we kind of thought that was the case. So Robert Adams, aka the Infernal Craftsman on YouTube, check out his channel, he's got some good stuff. He's also a Mustang guy. He sent me measurements from a fixed point on his Mustang to the B-pillar, and they line up with the measurements on my passenger side that wasn't in an accident. Now we know that this B-pillar was replaced. And when I take the first measurement, the bottom of this B-pillar should measure up at 37 inches. And it comes in at about 37 and a quarter. Now look at this. Now I've pointed this out before, but if you look underneath here, that is what's left of the original B-pillar. Here is the replacement B-pillar. And you can see that it's sitting back about 1/4 of an inch. Plus, this just needs to be taken off and cleaned up because this mangled mess is, I mean, I don't want to look at that every time I get in on the driver's side of the car. And furthermore, when you run that measurement to the top point up here on the passenger side, this point here is sitting about 47.5 inches back. On this side, it's sitting at about 48 inches. So it's also angled differently. So I want to try to reuse this B-pillar, but if I have to, I'll get a replacement. Do I have concerns about removing a B-pillar, which is supposed to be like a fixed location on a car? A reliable fixed location? Yes, absolutely. I'll get her done. We'll get her done though. Worst case scenario, I'll just shut the channel down and disappear. So, yeah. What is it? Say hi to everybody, Noah. Noah! Oh, you doinking me. Alright, that's enough noise, settle down. Noah, hey, I'm trying to film. Thank you. You'll have it in just a minute. So, this is where things start to slow down. It's time to solve a puzzle. The door is lined up pretty darn good. It's the next night, by the way, from when I last filmed. If you look at this gap, I have it running pretty good across the bottom. We know that the B-pillar is in the wrong place. Look at this angle. It's hard to see, but look at the angle of the way the quarter panel is right now. It gets a little wider as this goes up. And I have to ask myself, why is that happening? It's not that bad. In fact, I thought it looked worse last night. I will lose quite a bit of time trying to figure out what is going on before I even make cuts to this stuff normally. But because I know that the B-pillar is in the wrong location, I'm gonna take the quarter panel off and get started removing the B-pillar. Because we know this has to be fixed. It has to be. The measurements are all off. I mean, for goodness sakes, it's sitting on top of the old one, so it's higher than it should be. So, I guess what I'm saying is, we're gonna start cutting. Usually, I don't like to work in this kind of clutter and mess, but I'm trying to get 2 episodes up a week now, so bear with me, because I just don't have the time to clean like I used to. Where are my gloves? See, I don't even know where my gloves are. One thing you will learn real quick as a rookie is anytime you're messing with new sheet metal, you're gonna wear your gloves. Otherwise, you're gonna end up with almost Band-Aids all over your fingers. Kind of breaks my heart a little bit. I worked so hard to get that thing on. You never take too many reference photos, people. Honest to God, it's so easy. Just do it. That is one thing I can claim as a rookie, is that I can remember taking reference photos on my '69 Buick with one of those disposable cameras and having to wait for the camera to get exposed. We are so spoiled now. Absolutely no excuses. One final look at this mess before we clean it up, hopefully. Fingers crossed. I'm seriously so off my game because I can't find any of my tools. You know how Daddy always said put his tools back? This is why. Unbelievable. It was literally right where it was supposed to be because I started to clean up last night. Where the heck did I put it? Oh. Oh my gosh. It's gonna be one of them nights, guaranteed. I want to know why when you cut through braze, it smells so foul. Can someone please explain that to me in the comments? Got her done. So real quick, I might as well share this with you guys. I gave a fictitious name to the person that did the hack job on this car, and that name is Ed. So I find it mildly therapeutic when I get frustrated with the stuff I find in this car to curse Ed. So it works. You should try it. Very helpful. Sorry if your name's Ed. So I don't really know what Ed was thinking whenever he was doing this repair work. Here's part of the original B-pillar like we knew, still on. Down along in here. They didn't even bother grinding or sanding this stuff down. Just took the replacement, set it right on top of it, not even in the right spot. I'm guessing, I don't know, I assume that he did this because of the way the replacement quarter panel lined up. I don't know, maybe the accident damage in the wheelhouse, who knows. We're gonna make it right though, so we are. I'm not saying that my work is gonna be amazing, but it's definitely gonna be better than Ed's. So we have this area cleaned up pretty well, but I want to show you guys something that to me is amazing. We know that this section is bent in a little bit. So it probably needs to be in like this. Just by doing this, look what effect it has on the rest of the car. Get in there close. Look at that being lifted. Look at this area, back by the sail panel. All of that, even the deck lid, is lifted just by moving this. And that goes back to what Barry from Joe Daddy's Garage was telling us whenever we removed that support brace in here. Just how much these pieces interact with each other and affect it. So when I make these repairs, it's quite possible the quarter panel is not going to fit the way that I had it on previously. Lots of stuff to think about. So I just checked with the other side, and this piece looks like it should be over about in like maybe here. And I'm telling you, just moving it in that little bit, if you can see how much it lifts the car, that is going to solve a lot of the quarter panel fitment issues that I had. I'm really hoping that this is one of the last pieces of the puzzle. This whole project I'm doing on this car with the quarter panel, the wheelhouse, the B-pillar, this is probably going to be the most difficult part or task of this project car. So I hope that we can get this figured out, straightened out, and have great progress from here on out. One of the big panel fitment issues I was having with the quarter panel was getting it tucked in underneath this section. And by moving that into its correct place, it is raising this a decent amount, which this is blowing my mind because I can't lift up on this. You know, it's difficult to lift up on this, but just by prying this into place, it raises all of that. I'm mind blown by this. I'm not kidding you, my mind is blown by this. I'm having so much fun out here. This stuff is so fascinating to me. And also, I sincerely appreciate you guys hanging along for the ride and watching.